Evolution, both in theory and practice, says that all species change over time to accommodate their environment, current availability of food and drink, and even to adapt to outright displacement or total annihilation of their habitat. This theory also applies to video games. In particular, we're talking about Bloons. Bloons, as we know it today, is a thriving tower defense game with a global player base in the millions. But of course, it wasn't always like this. In fact, Bloons as a game got its start in 2007, probably before some of you were even born. It was a flash game where you, pop balloons. Well, let me get more specific. Bloons is a game where you control a monkey. This monkey shoots darts at balloons. Yeah, things haven't really changed that much conceptually. However, this game plays a bit more like Angry Birds than any modern TD game, because instead of just placing down your little monkey boy and then you just start shooting things, this monkey has to be controlled manually by you. So, jumping into Bloons, something I find interesting is that there's actually a level designer and high scores page that doesn't really seem to work, though I do wonder what these were like when the game was, active. There's also links to the Ninja Kiwi website in Bloons too, but those aren't really relevant here. The gameplay of this game is pretty simple. The concept simply goes that you aim your dart monkey and then they shoot a dart at an arc with the hopes of popping balloons. However, this game does have some quirks. There are special balloons that, when popped, give you power-ups, such as the tack balloons that shoot out darts like a tack would. There's also a boomerang power-up that, well, it gives you a boomerang, and then there's also bombs.
They were made in a factory. A bomb factory. They're bombs.
Not only that, there's also some stage props that do certain things. There's a brown one that can be destroyed if you hit it. There's a bouncy one that makes a horrible, horrible cartoon noise every time you hit it. There's also just a standard gray one that's just an obstacle, really. Nothing too complex on the gameplay side of things, but what's more important, however, is how enjoyable is the game, really. Well, I'd say it's a fun time waster at least. It's pretty standard stuff for early Flash, and honestly, I can appreciate that. The difficulty does scale a bit, which is a bonus, and I'm kind of ashamed to admit that I did struggle just a little bit. I didn't complete the whole game, mind you, but I did play through a solid chunk of it. I wish I could say something about the complexities and well thought out lore of this game and how Mr. Kiwi was a mad genius for coming up with what's the highest grossing film right now? The Avatar of Flash games, but this isn't really much. Well, it's not much more than a game that really made me question my intelligence. Like, jokes aside, I unironically had to do so many tries on some of these levels. This one where you have to dodge the ice balloons because they freeze other balloons, making them unpoppable, took me like 10 minutes to beat. It was kind of frustrating too. There's also levels that require you to aim your darts like a mortar, and those were kind of hard as well because, well, you're basically aiming a whole new weapon at this point. There are also these levels that required you to bounce the dart, and as mentioned before, the sound of this was, well, kind of unpleasant. And while I'm sure there's going to be at least one person in the comments now like, oh my gosh, Taiga, you have a skill issue, L plus ratio, plus get good, plus you fell off, plus whatever the hell else. But I mean, it really is just a mid-2000s era Flash game. It really isn't that hard, right? It isn't that bad. Okay, that's a little bit of exaggeration. However, this joke cost me a life, bringing me down to 99, so I'm a little regretful now. Well, anyway, this was a look at Bloons, the first game of the whole series, and something I had fun looking at, actually. Sorry for the gap in uploads, by the way. I was having a bit of a medical and motivational struggle for the past couple weeks, so I had to take a break. That aside though, I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you enjoyed looking at the first Bloons game, perhaps we could look at other Bloons games. There are a lot more pre-tower defense Bloons games out there, and I think it'd be pretty fun to look at them, but you'll have to tell me if you want that in the comments. And if you want to just leave a comment in general, just go ahead and do that. Perhaps you would look at another video that I've made, perhaps one of other Bloons games, or perhaps you want to look at just, I don't know, a guide, or this one. But with that said, I shall bid you all a farewell.